Hi guys, Bchilled here, and today I wanted to talk about the Operative. It's an Imperial Agent specialization. It's basically a medium armor wearing healer or DPS. It could fit both roles or it could do a hybrid. First off, I wanted to talk a bit about the spells, so let's get into the basic spells. And first off, it's the Tactical Advantage. It's kind of like combo points for Rogue, only it only stacks up to 2, and no spells requires more than 1 charge to execute. And it serves different purposes, but mostly the 2% damage buff isn't really that much, and you'll mostly just use it to execute your desecration, which I'll get into afterwards. And you have your basic stealth, which reduces movement speed, but you can get it talented, and I'll get into that as well. You have the basic healers. You have a quick heal, and you have the heals over time. You have Backstab, which is one of your main damaging spells. It requires you to be behind the target, and it's a big nuke for the spec I'm going to show you. You won't really be using Cabin Burst, even though it's more for the shared tree spec, and I can get into that as well afterwards. Sleeping Dart, it's basically a sap, except it lasts a lot longer in this game than in WoW in PvP, and I'll get into some footage of that afterwards. You have your Sneak, and most people will just ignore this spell, and I never see anyone use it, but it's incredibly useful. It's basically, when you're stealth, it serves a big purpose as well in stealth versus stealth fights. The Sneak only lasts 8 seconds, but you'll be basically undetectable in stealth for 8 seconds. Then you will easily get the open on the other stealther. And also, if you think you're going to get detected, or if you're in the middle of a big group, use your cloaking screen, which is your vanish. If you played WoW, it's basically a stealth to get out of combat. So you use your cloaking screen and then sneak at the same time, and you'll be undetectable and just stealth away. You have your toxic scan, which gets off dots if you want to get off your regen heal, which is quite useful. I don't use it that much. The avoidance training lets you use your evasion. I'll get into evasion afterwards, and that will be like a snare remover. And sewer tendon, it's basically a throwing knife, and it slows the target, but I'll get into what it looks like when it's specced. The hidden strike, this is your big nuke when you get out of stealth. It is like ambush if you play WoW, and it's going to stun as well when I'm going to show you the spec. And infiltrate, it's a party stealth, and this is very interesting because it stealths all your party members within 10 meters, and it lasts 15 seconds, which can be really useful for surprising enemies. And you have your in-combat rest, the combat rest. So let's get into the spec a bit, and I'm just going to unspec everything here, and let's see. So the way I spec Concealment. It's basically your melee spec. And you have lethality, which is your dotting. You have your dot spec, and it's more like mid-range focus. Relies on dotting the target up and then just keeping the damage up with mostly auto attacks and some other ranged nukes. And your medicine, the healing tree. I won't get into that. One of our teammates will get into that later. So I start off with concealed attacks. It's pretty obvious. It just boosts your damage a lot in critical hit with hidden strike and backstab, which is incredibly useful. And this depends if you're team player. You'll be wanting to take this talent because your stim boost is the one that gives you back all your energy while in combat, and it will require the use of 1 combat advantage, but if you spec this, it will also heal you for 2% of your total health every 3 seconds. So taking survival training increases the healing done by 3%, which is not a large amount, but also all healing will also be increased by 9%. And if you play Warzone pre-mades, that is a big lot if someone gets a crit off. So I take this instead of the Imperial Brew, which increases your dot damage and your acid blade. Well, as Concealment, you won't rely much on dots, so it won't really matter, so I'll just skip this talent. I'll take the Infiltrator, which increases movement speed by a total of 15%, and you'll be harder to detect this will give you the same speed while stealthed as while not like it will give you 100% speed, the usual speed. And surgical strikes for obvious reasons. It just increases your damage dealt with 4%. And Laceration. It requires one tactical advantage, but it's your main damage source. You'll be using it every time you can. It's your biggest nuke except for hidden strikes. It's an amazing spell. And you're going to be wanting to do the collateral strike. It gives it a 50% chance to do another hit, which is not that big, but it also stuns the weak mobs, but it's still a lot more damage in PvP if you add it up. You'll be wanting to take this talent for the heals, and it's very useful, also increased by the survival training. And I chose Waylay. It's kind of a PvE talent, but it reduces the cost of Backstab and Acid Blade, and Backstab will cost 0 energy to do, which will increase, let you keep up your burst for a more sustained period. And Energy Screen gives you energy for every time you dodge or resist an attack. In addition, Cloaking Screen no longer reduce healing dealt and receive, which means that if you're playing party, you're going to still get heals when you vanish away, which is extremely useful. Also, it will allow you to continue getting the heals off your stim boost, even though you vanished away. And Pin Down. This is a Sewer Tendon spec, which lets you immobilize the target for 2 seconds when you throw the knife. Very useful for slowing people down. I often use the Sewer Tendon, just immobilize, sit down, do the snipe bomb combo to get a lot of burst off, and then reopen on their back again. And Tactical Opportunity is a very good thing. That's the reason why you chose Collateral Strike, because Collateral Strike isn't that much damage, but if you combine it with Tactical Opportunity, you'll get re-granted the tactical advantage you used, which means that you can do another Laceration, which means 3 Lacerations in a row when you have 2 combat or tactical advantages, which is extremely useful. It allows you to get so much damage off. And the Advanced Cloaking reduces the cooldown of Cloaking Screen by a minute. Extremely useful. Also gives you a movement speed buff when you use your Vanish or Cloaking Screen. The Culling, the increased all damage dealt to poison target by 3% in total. I won't be taking this, because I'm not going to dot targets up unless they're stealthless, and 3 damage isn't that much compared to, for PvP, I'd rather go for this one. The increased total endurance by 6%. It's a lot more useful in PvP. 6% more endurance is a lot at endgame. And the Jarring Strike. Hidden Strike has a 50% chance to knock that target flat on its face for 3 seconds. So that's a 3-second knockdown on your hidden strikes, which lets you do all the opener, like come out, do a hidden strike, and then do a backstab, and you'll have clear pathing. Also, this one will give you more energy recovered from your stim boost. Also, increase the critical damage by 30% on your backstab, Sewer Tendon, hidden strikes, and Acid Blade. And your Acid Blade. This is not your main damage source compared to other specs, but this will give you a very powerful dot on your hidden strike and backstab, and will also increase your armor penetration by 50% for 15 seconds. And that does not respect the global cooldown or does not break stealth, which means you'll get a huge amount of burst combined with a 50% armor penetration. Just lets you decimate targets. And now I'll go down in the medicine tree and take the 9% increased cunning, but I won't be taking any other talents here. I'll be going straight over to the lethality tree, and I'll be increasing my shiv damage by 10% and increase my total attack and ranged critical chance by 6%. And I'll do the slip away, which reduces cooldown on debilitate by 15 seconds, and increases its movement speed by 30 seconds for 4 seconds after activating the stun. And you'll still be left with no points, and this is my level 50 spec. So now I'm just going to show you a little preview of what I'm going to bring you later on in these weeks it's some PvP on my level 35 operative. At the moment I was only level 35, but I'll be bringing some more level 50 content soon this week. I'll begin with opening up on Sork. I really enjoy opening up on Sorks. They really only have the pushback and the stun, and you quickly get up to full resolve bar with the fighting Sorks. Especially those who don't know how to manage to control your resolve bar. And a good trick is using evasion to get out of snares, because with avoidance training they remove all of the slow effects and it helps a lot. Also, even though I'm not concealment spec and I'm not a sniper, I often drop down to cover using sniper, or using snipe, I'm sorry. It helps a lot sniping. It does great burst even though I'm operative, and trying to get those sneak saps, even though like right before people get in combat, getting sneak saps helps a lot. Try to always go for the low health target. There's so to burn them down, because that helps the entire team a lot more than going for full health people or pressuring casters. If you have the choice between going on a full health melee and a full health caster when you're fighting against, or when you're trying to get people off your teammate, always go on the caster, because he can't free cast then, and that disrupts so much damage. Also, try using all your abilities when trying to escape. Here I used blind on one target and used silver tendon on the other one. I have it spec'd so it immobilizes the target, allowing me to create a gap. Make sure to, right before you regen, always to check for dots, and obviously I had dots here, but I was kind of too tired to check it to notice. But once I noticed, I used the toxic scan. It's very useful. Very few DPS operatives use it, but it helps remove all the dots if you're going to replenish your health using the regen. And a smart thing is always going for the support that if you have people already trying to burn down the ball carrier, enemy ball carrier, try getting on the support, allowing your team to freely attack the ball carrier. Here, my plan was going for the ball carrier, but he quickly sprinted away, and I saw no chance in taking him down. So I decided to help my teammates out by taking down a Sork that was focus firing a healer. But the healer goes down anyways, and they pass the ball to me. Now, a very stupid idea ever. Even though if you know you can kill your enemy after if you pass him the ball, to kill him afterwards to keep the ball, that's a bad tactic. Because if the enemy is smart, he's going to reset the ball, and then you're screwed. Also, yeah, always when I use vanish, even though I got taken out of stealth here, always when I use cloaking screen or vanish, I try to use sneak at the same time to avoid getting detected by anyone. And here this assassin stunned me, but I quickly trinketed and stunned him back and trying to kite him, because I'm at pretty low health here. But and I noticed he trinketed my first stun, so I got off a free blind to get some support of this healer. If you see your team's going to cap, try to run for middle to secure the ball at once. Here the Sork used sprint though, so I couldn't catch up with him, but burning down a Sork with an assassin and an operative DPS isn't that hard. And but even though he got away with the vent, always use your rapid shots as well. Rapid shots and your corrosive dart from ranged while you're not in melee range helps a lot to keep your pressure up and DPS down. Also, you can even burn down entire full health targets with just rapid shots and corrosive dart, especially if you're lethality spec. I'll be bringing some lethality spec point of view afterwards. Also, it was a 2 versus 2, and I like to come in and help burn down targets so that I can keep my teammates alive, even though I'm not a healer. And a lot of you guys are saying that I should like throw a heal or two, but that's really not efficient. Even though if you're this high level and not healing spec, you can pull off some like 2k crit heals, but it's still not enough to be efficient enough, because your energy will go straight down and you'll do a lot better support killing off the targets that are doing damage to your friends, instead of you wasting your energy on healing and then you'll both get killed at the end. And also, you saw that guy had I chose not to open on that guy because I saw he had guard. Going on targets with guard in the open is not that smart, because they'll have the advantage with taking 50% less damage. And I managed to sap that guy, that assassin, right before he went on the vent. But he still, and I opened up on him, but he vanished away and opened on my friends. So I just decided to use my normal rotation on him, back to back. And what I use is, I open up with a backstab, because in this video I was one level from hidden strike, so I'll open up with a hidden strike, but in this case I open up with a backstab, and use my shiv, and then do a laceration for the end. And that's all I have for now, and I'll bring you some more level 50 content later on this week. Thanks guys.